Dr. Dawn here again for some coffee time casual. So this is something where I want to go into. I've been talking about storytelling tactics by Pip Decks, and I freaking love it. Oh my gosh. Like, I cannot even tell you. All right. So what I've been doing is the storyteller tactic challenge. All right. So last time we picked one that was story hooks. Now I'm going to, go through the deck and just kind of go like this and randomly pick out another one, and we're going to talk about it. Okay. So let's talk about, and some of these I've never read. Okay. So I'm doing this totally on the fly. Abstractions. Let's see what this is about. Okay. Abstractions. This is the story brand abstractions card. Don't just ask questions, observe people in action. We often understand much more than we can explain. Imagine you're watching a group of 5-year-olds playing a made-up game in the playground. Take one kid aside and ask her to explain the rules of the game and why she's taking part in it. How useful do you think her answers would be? Explanations are an abstraction. Real knowledge lies deep in the deeper actions and stories. Okay, I flubbed that a little bit, but that's okay. We're on casual coffee talk today. We're not trying to be perfect. All right, abstractions. So watch your users in action. How many levels can you discover, starting with the action of working up to rationalization? Oh, this is getting deep. So it's AIRNR. I love how he does that because I love, those are my favorite things, is making, well, as you know, with brand, I have that. Action, what is your user doing? Imitation, who are they modeling their behavior after? Ritual and play, what patterns and rules are they following? Narrative, what kind of story do they tell? And finally, rationalization, how do they explain why they do this? That's deep. Now, the cool thing is that they give you connections to other cards in case you're like, I have no idea what that is. Look for contradictions between what people say and what they do. That is a true statement right there. Yes. Abstractions. What do people say versus what do people do? Yeah. So how would you use this with your user? Right? So they call them users because it started actually in UX design, okay, for like interfacing with people. But how does that apply to us in the course creation academy world, right? So what they're saying in this is that tell the story of what your client actually does with their action, which is counterintuitive to their production of moving forward, right? So I would use it that way. I would say, I bet you've tried to build your course before. You got on Teachable or one of those platforms that are fabulous platforms, and you took a self-training video, and it ended up sitting there collecting dust for over 6 months. And here you are 6 months later and still have not actually completed it. So what I'm saying in that is they took action to do something, but because it was too much, they didn't have guidance, they didn't have a mentor, they didn't have momentum and accountability, it ends up sitting there. So their actions were not what they wanted. So they chose to do something, which was sign up for a free Teachable class, but their actions showed that it wasn't working for them, right? So their actions, they couldn't understand the concept. It's actually not an easy thing to do, guys. That's why you're here. Okay, it's not easy. If it was so easy, everybody would have $1 million academy, wouldn't they? Everybody, but it's not easy. Okay, so having said that, let's go back. How would you put abstraction into your brand? Think about that for a minute. Let's go back to the husky, the dog trainer, because everybody can relate to puppies, right? So what you could say is people will often go take their puppy to the high-end dog store, right? Like they're looking for something that's healthy for them, but their actions are to buy the bad rawhide bones. Well, why is that? If they're going into a luxury pet store to buy good things for their dog, why do they suddenly default to the rawhide bones that we know are not so great for animals, for dogs, right? They're not if they eat too many of them. Why is that behavior? Well, I would be fair to say this, that the behavior stems from the fact that they feel comfortable with rawhide. They know what rawhide is. The price points on rawhide are lower, and they're thinking, how many of these are my dog going to go through? A husky can go through a whole bag of rawhide in a week, right? Like 2 weeks, it's gone. So you're looking, so the consumer is the action, the intention was to get something really healthy, better for my dog. But the action was, ooh, I'm going to default back because nobody's shown me a better path. When I go to these specialty stores, everything's way too expensive. One bone is 10, 12, 20 bucks. I can't pay that for my dog to chew through in a week. So nobody's given me a middle ground solution. So I'm going to default to what I feel comfortable with. I know, even though I know it might not be so great, my actions are something different than what my intention and what my focus was. So that's the abstraction side of it. I think that was really cool. I hope you liked it.